afternoon. It's 1 p.m. here in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, and this is The Ambassador. With me, your Ambassador Paul Madenge. This is where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Now to our very first story. California Senator Alex Padilla was forcefully removed by security guards on Thursday as he attempted to interrupt a Los Angeles press conference by DHS Secretary Chris Noem, who was discussing President Trump's administration's response to the ongoing demonstrations in the California city over Trump's immigration raids and mass deportation efforts.
California Senator Alex Padilla was forcefully removed from the Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's press briefing in Los Angeles, handcuffed by the officers as he tried to speak about the immigration raids that have led to protests in the city and parts of America over the past 1 week. The action caused a tense moment.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary.
Hands behind your back.
If you don't my hands, go ahead, put them behind my back.
He condemned the action.
If this is how the Department of Homeland Security responds to a senator with a question, you can only imagine what they're doing to farm workers, to cooks, to day laborers out in the Los Angeles community.
But for Noem,
I wish that he would have reached out and identified himself and let us know who he was and that he wanted to talk. His approach, was something that I don't think was appropriate at all.
Back in Washington, D.C., lawmakers reacted.
He was recklessly and aggressively manhandled. That was unacceptable.
Democrats have marched across the American Capitol to put pressure on their Republican colleagues to respond.
I think the senator's actions, my view is it was wildly inappropriate. You don't charge a sitting cabinet secretary and everybody can draw their own conclusion.
A federal judge in California had blocked President Trump's move to deploy the National Guard in Los Angeles, ruling that the White House must return the control of the California National Guard to Governor Newsom. Trump's team appealed the ruling. From the American city of California, I'm Victor Udun, the Ambassador.
And more of the breaking news that is coming in. Israel has struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear missile and military complex in an unprecedented attack that reportedly killed 2 of Iran's top military commanders and plunges the wider Middle East into dangerous new territory. The strike in Iran's nuclear program and senior military leaders could be a turning point in the long-running conflict, as Israel braced for major Iranian retaliation, with the threat of a wider regional war breaking out now a real risk. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the military operation had struck at the head of Iran's nuclear weaponization program, and targets included Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz, Iranian nuclear scientist, and Iran's ballistic missile program. Let's now listen to the official statement from Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu regarding the strike.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Today, the Jewish state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. Now, as Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. Iran is gearing up to produce 10,000 of those ballistic missiles within 3 years. Now just imagine 10,000 tons of TNT landing on a country the size of New Jersey. This is an intolerable threat. It too must be stopped. Iran is now working on what it calls the new plan to destroy Israel. You see, the old plan failed. Iran and its proxies tried to encircle Israel with a ring of fire and to attack us with the horrible attack of October 7th. But the people of Israel, the soldiers of Israel, rose like lions to defend our country. We crushed Hamas, we devastated Hezbollah, we hit Iranian proxies in Syria and Yemen. And when Iran directly attacked us twice last year, we struck back inside Iran itself. Yet in defending ourselves, we also defend others. We defend our Arab neighbors. They too have suffered from Iran's campaign of chaos and carnage. Our actions against Iran's proxy Hezbollah led to the establishment of a new government in Lebanon and the collapse of Assad's murderous regime in Syria. The peoples of those two countries now have a chance for a different future, a better future. So too do the brave people of Iran, and I have a message for them. Our fight is not with you. Our fight is with the brutal dictatorship that has oppressed you for 46 years. I believe that the day of your liberation is near. And when that happens, the great friendship between our two ancient peoples will flourish once again. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons.
An Air India passenger plane bound for London Gatwick with more than 240 people on board has crashed shortly after takeoff from the northern western India city. Air India Flight 171, a Boeing 787-8, also known as a Dreamliner, issued a mayday call to air traffic control after takeoff. Signal was lost seconds after takeoff when the plane had reached a height of 625 feet. Susan Nganga with more on that.
On Thursday, an Air India flight bound for London Gatwick crashed in India, resulting in one of the deadliest aviation disasters in a decade. Of the 290 people on board, only one survivor has been confirmed. Ramesh, a 40-year-old British national traveling with his brother after visiting family in India. According to police and multiple media reports, the survivor was seated near an emergency exit, seat 11A, when the crash occurred. He managed to escape the wreckage by jumping out through the emergency exit door. Speaking from his hospital bed, Ramesh recounted to the Indian media. Footage circulated on social media and Indian news channels showed a man in blood-stained white shirt and dark pants limping and being assisted by a medic. He had visible bruises and a goatee matching images of Ramesh in the hospital. When bystanders asked about other passengers, he replied, "They are all inside." Ramesh's family in Britain confirmed contact with him, but had received no news about his brother, who was seated in a different row.
I don't know. Like I said, I can't say anything about that.
Yeah. What was it like hearing that he's okay?
Yeah, at least the family's happy that he's okay, but we're still upset about the other brother. Just not my cousin, he's also one of my best friends as well. So I'm feeling upset.
And am I right in thinking that Vishwas, was he married? He had a child?
Yeah, he's got one child.
So he's got a wife and he's got a child?
Yeah.
A little boy or girl?
Yeah, boy.
Little boy?
Yeah.
And he's here?
Yeah, they are here.
How are his wife and child doing?
I don't know, not seen them yet. Not met them. I don't know. Everyone is upset about it. Yeah.
Police indicated that while Ramesh is the only confirmed survivor so far, rescue operations continue and there remains a possibility of finding additional survivors among those hospitalized. The aircraft crashed in a residential areas, striking a medical college hostel near the airport during lunchtime. The disaster claimed more than 290 lives, including some on the ground, making it the world's worst aviation accident in a decade.
We express our sincere condolences to the family in India who has lost their loved ones. Now, the ambassador will take a short break, but we'll be right back with more as we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics.
But what is the problem? The problem, people don't want to hear the voice of Jesus, and they don't want to live through the voice of Jesus. But most of the time, people are living their life of struggling. The people who died before receiving Jesus Christ, the people who died in sin, those people, they will go to the judgment, they will go to the fire, and those people will say that they are dead because they will face the second death, which is the hellfire. People without knowing this, people think that, no, I should do something. No, I need to do something. Why? Because they don't know exact heart of God. They don't know exact will of God. And through this, God allowed His goodness. God allowed the problems in our life. And when God allowed this goodness leads us to
Mali na ambapo nakukaribisha tena kwa mpigo tena zaidi kila siku ya Jumamosi. Unazidi kuungana nasi.
Ukiangalia Real Betis walianza kwa moto sana.
Ndani ya Sports Sugu mali ambapo tunakuelimisha na tunakujuza mengi kuhusiana na mambo ya kandanda sababu hapa nchini Kenya, ligi kuu nchini Uingereza mali ambapo ni Hispaniola, Ujerumani, Ureno, kila kitu inakuwa iko swadakta kabisa.
Is love enough? Let me just ask that question first before we dive in.
No. In marriage is more than love. It's there's love, there's trust, there's respect.
What is the definition of love in the context of marriage?
Love, to me, is one of the cornerstones of the marriage. And for the marriage to work, we demand effort, total commitment, and shared vision.
Like, you can't tell your wife, come and sit on my laps. How
hard is it for him to tell me, come and sit on my lap?
Can your mom do that?
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the ambassador. And now, oil prices surged and global stocks stabled Friday after Israel launched a surprise military strike on Iranian nuclear and military facilities, igniting fears of a broader conflict in the Middle East. Brent crude spiked over 10%, while safe haven assets like gold and the Swiss franc climbed as investors fled riskier markets. U.S. futures pointed sharply lower, and Asian indices saw widespread losses in early trading. President Donald Trump, addressing the nation from the White House, confirmed he had been briefed on the Israeli action and said the U.S. fully supports Israel's right and defends itself against its extension threats. However, he urged restraint, warning that a wider war would serve no one.
Don't like it. The oil prices have gone up just a little bit over the last few days. I was going to call and it just really starts screaming at you. Are we okay? Nothing wrong, right? It's going to keep going down a little bit, right?
Following the tragic plane crash at a hospital in Ahmedabad, leading to death and destruction in India yesterday, our GBS senior reporter Victor Udun complies with the following reports from the ground to show us an in-depth analysis of what unfolded.
Dear viewer, let us have a look at what unfolded from the ground at a civil hospital in Ahmedabad in India yesterday. As you can see, these are the wheels of the plane that crashed, the Air India Flight 171. And these are the students bedding in their hostels. This is where the students had sat to enjoy their lunch. Bloodshed all over. Student staff are shown here. Police are trying to clear the mess and protect it for further investigation. Enough evidence that somebody was eating here. Just have a look at the cafeteria. Bloodstains on the bedding. This is the remnant of the plane that crashed here 30 seconds after takeoff. The building just had to cave in. This is India's Prime Minister Indira Modi at the site. Indeed, this is a story of a loss, fate, and the fragile 30 seconds that changed everything. Reporting for GBS TV from the Ahmedabad in India, I'm Victor Udun.
And now more developing news. And now Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, had some press conference, and this is what he had to say on the military.
That's why I'm once again asking you to strictly follow the guidelines of the Home Front Command. It's very possible that you will need to stay in protected spaces for an extended period of time, much longer than we have been used to until now. Please make sure to stock up, as I am sure you are already doing, with supplies, food, clothing and more. But above all, stock up on patience, on faith in the justice of our cause, and in confidence in our victory. There's a reason we named this Operation Rising Lion, a people that rises up as a lioness and as a lion lifts himself up. We are going to achieve many great accomplishments. Thanks to you and that.
Now, Real Madrid have officially introduced their newest signing, and its unnamed fans across Europe know well. England international Trent Alexander has joined the Spanish Giants after leaving Liverpool, the club where he rose the stardom. The 26-year-old right-back now begins a new chapter in Madrid, and he will be eligible to play as early as next week in the Club World Cup. Our sports reporter Elvis Muyodi has more on this unveiling news.
Trent Alexander-Arnold has been officially unveiled as a Real Madrid player, signing a 6-year contract and taking the number 12 shirt. The 26-year-old England international arrived in the Spanish capital with his family, calling the move a dream come true.
Signing for a club like Real Madrid doesn't happen every day. It's a dream come true. I'm very happy and proud of myself for being here. I can't wait to show my game to Real Madrid fans. I am aware that playing for Real Madrid is a great responsibility, but I'm ready to do my best for the team and the fans.
Madrid secured the right back from Liverpool for a reported fee of up to $11.5 million, bringing him in early to feature in the Club World Cup. He will be available for Xabi Alonso's squad when they face Al Hilal next Wednesday in Miami. His signing follows that of young defender Dean Hudson, as Madrid looks to bolster a backline hit by injuries last season. With 354 appearances and 9 major trophies at Liverpool, including a Champions League and 2 Premier League titles, Alexander-Arnold brings elite experience and creativity. Now joining forces with Jude Bellingham and Kylian Mbappe, he becomes part of a Real Madrid side determined to return to the top after falling short last season. Elvin Muyodi, GBS Sports.
And that's all for today. With me, your Ambassador Paul Mathenge on the Ambassador 1 p.m. Follow all of our stories at GBS TV Africa. It's updated throughout the day. We meet every Thursday and Friday as we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Thank you for your time and company.
Everywhere, GBS.